You're literally wearing your housemate's underwear in this podcast.
Yeah. Man, if you look, not my problem. Like, you put your washing in my pile, I'm going to wear it.
That's it. Hello.
Hey.
Welcome.
Thank you. This is for me.
That's for you.
This is for you.
No, you have not. What is this?
Picture of me and Jean.
Where are you?
We're in Darwin.
And that is a gigantic crocodile.
Yeah. I did try to, when I was at the Edinburgh Theatre last night, I tried to find out if they had any giant posters of me left over, and I was just going to sign that and give it to you. But they didn't have any available. So this was the next step.
Thank you so much for joining us, Daniel. How you doing?
I'm good. I mean, I'm a bit hungover, but you were there. So I'm not. I don't take responsibility.
I feel Did you just rope him into doing the podcast drunk like last night? Is that how it worked?
And he definitely came into, like, he wrote me in a while ago, but then he also definitely came in to check in on me last night.
So you're our first international guest. You live in Edinburgh.
I do.
Yeah, that's great. What's
Huge
the
milestone for the show.
Yeah.
our first international guest?
We're going global, baby.
I mean, I'm international, so I'm always here every week. I don't get any credit. What the f***'s up with that? But what's it like, the share houses in Edinburgh like?
Well, I never went to university, so I never got to stay in like a real share house.
Right.
All of my shared house experiences have been with houses that I've bought. And then my friends may share it with me. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Look, hey,
I've lived in share houses, but I've owned all of them.
Some dumb from the BBC gave like a 21-year-old the last ever DVD deal in the UK, and it was not financially viable for them. The company went under immediately afterwards. Like, it doesn't exist anymore because the last thing they did was give a 21-year-old me a big stack of cash. They would buy a house.
Yeah.
Because with comedy, you never know. Like, it could end at a moment's notice. So my thing was always get a house, put a deposit down. So I'm actually the worst guest to have on because I'm just like, it's dead easy. Like, I'm financially viable. I've only ever lived with people I wanted to live with.
Well, we've lived with our landlord before, but that was the purpose of creating the show, is that we were kicked out by him because he wanted to
move back in.
He turned Nat's room into an office.
Oh,
yeah.
And we could have really done with an office right now.
Instead of my bedroom.
But you've had people live with your friends and whatnot.
Yeah. So, like, I missed out on the university experience. I still lived with my parents until I was 21.
Yeah.
And then bought a place in Edinburgh, and moved my friend Ali in. I mean, we just trashed the place. Like, we'd never had. We'd both gone from living at home to like I'm a young Z-list celebrity who's like bought his first house.
Yeah. So what were you like as a housemate / landlord, essentially?
How would you rate yourself?
With Ali, like, it was a difficult time in our relationship because, like, I was getting like a lot of success and he was coming and living in this place, and he never felt like it was his place, which is, fair enough because I was decorating it and it was,
and you owned it,
and I owned it. Yeah.
I think so. The decorating is like at the bottom of the list of why he felt.
All those posters he's put up around there just makes me not feel like this is my home.
Yeah. Just me sat signing the document in front of him, being like, honestly, it's half yours. The reason I offer such cheap rent is because, one, it's my friends, and I also feel very guilty. I don't want my friends paying off my mortgage. And the other side, like, I'm away, so, like, just, keep it clean, answer the door, make sure nobody fucking robs it or whatever. But
they're paying to be house sitters sometimes.
Yeah. And I'm like, is that a fair deal? Like, is this, or do I just have like a live-in landlord?
I mean, it's very admirable that you're charging your friends such cheaper rent. But was there any points where you were taking advantage of any of the liberties that you would as a landlord that a regular tenant would never really get away with?
Oh, like, well, yeah, like, if something's broken and I don't need it, like, I'll not fix it for a while. Like, that's not my fault. Like, and also I was like, you do have to, like, there's like a hidden thing of like, you have to spend, when I'm back, you have to spend time with me. Like, come on, like, like one of my flatmates now, comedian called Ryan Cullen. We play career mode on FIFA together.
Okay,
but there are times when I can tell he can't be bothered playing, and I'm like, I want to play FIFA. And he's like, all right, okay. Let's go take Charlton to the Premier League, shall we?
I was playing 2K, NBA 2K, same sort of deal, my career mode. And I was killing it, like undefeated season, averaging 40 points a game. One day I log in and a game has been played and I don't remember playing it and I've lost a game. And I'm just like, what's happened? And this fucking piece of shit to my right has logged on and lost by 50 points.
I wanted to play.
Oh man,
on my account. Like,
that's like, play a separate game. That is genuinely worse than your partner watching an episode of the thing you're watching.
Yeah.
Like them
ahead of you.
Yeah, way worse. I didn't know there was a higher version
I
of
messed
that
up his my career, and like it was really hard. He has it on like pro or something.
yeah, because I'm good. You've never played the game before.
I'm like, I feel like I'm pretty good at 2K. So I was getting on being like, oh, I should be able to like maintain his level.
Yeah.
Got through and just got decimated in this game and then tried to never tell him.
As if he wouldn't notice.
I was like, look, he's played heaps of games. He won't notice.
I haven't played that game since. The last game I played is that loss, and I just look at it and I'm just like, I'm not playing this.
Devastating.
That career is over.
Like, think about normal NBA teams. Like, even the best ones lose, and you're like, couldn't hack it.
Yeah, but I don't lose.
Yeah.
I haven't lost. That was the record I was trying to keep intact.
He's basically the Jordan of 2K.
Yeah.
He doesn't accept anything less.
I was going for Rookie of the Year, MVP, Finals MVP, Championship, the whole thing. And you f***ed it.
I've never done anything that bad. I've never been that truly evil.
He's always stepping out of line, doing shit I don't normally agree with. I walked into the kitchen the other day and I just see him, shoes off, bare feet, and he's trying to kill fruit flies by throwing his sneakers at the wall.
You have no idea. These things are the bane of my existence. We have all kinds of pests. We have like cockroaches, slugs, spiders, but nothing gets to me more than the fruit fly. Our old housemate used to have sticky bits that they would fly into, and then he'd have this is hilarious because he used to have
like, all these like concoctions, like mini bowls with like, oh, if you put apple cider vinegar and honey, they're attracted to it and then they can't swim out.
But he would give you the
like,
measurements of how much to put in, otherwise it won't work. And he was so proud of his method of the potion he used to capture them.
He's made a fucking drink for fruit flies. He's like, they love this one. They even come in from outside for this one.
No, they do, but like, you know when he's got like a very dad energy, and you know when dads have done something they're very proud of, they cannot wait to tell you about it.
He told guests.
Like, if people would come over and they'd just be like, look how many I caught just there, have a look. They can't swim, they can't get out.
Have you ever had a pest problem in your houses?
Yes, I'll be really clean at some points. Like Gene would always say, there's a time when I come back from tour, I'd go into a nesting phase because I've been away for so long that I would literally gut the house from top to bottom. Like I'm talking like take couches out of the room, clean the entire floors, do skirting boards and everything, go all around it. And then there'd be other times where it's like during the Edinburgh Festival where it's like, well, I'm not cleaning for a month because it's a festival and I'm drunk. But at the end of that festival, my mum comes round and she's just dropped off some food because she's a sweetheart. And she goes downstairs and clearly just sees how, like, the rest of the house is actually clean, but my room isn't because nobody's a guest in my room. Yeah. So, like, I'm like, I don't mind if it's dirty.
Yeah.
I don't mind if, like, it's not...
Personal space is dirty, communal space is clean.
Exactly. So, and I'm fine with that. And she goes down and she goes, do you mind if I clean your room? I'm like, Mum, I'm like 24, 25 years. Please don't clean my room. Like, I will do it. But it just, she's like, Mum, she's like, I can't let my son live like this. And she just starts cleaning it. And I'm like, all right, well, you look, I told you not to. And you don't get to play the martyr at the end of this. And she drags me down at the end. And there is a fully, like, just the skeleton of a frog. Like, no guts.
No meat,
no meat, no nothing.
It's decomposed.
It's fully decomposed. And, like, and my mum posts this online. And my friend's like, I'm sorry. Is that a fossilized frog in your immediately the WhatsApp blows up because they're like, you are the grottiest cunt
you didn't steal it from a museum. It had decomposed in your room.
In the room, right? But right, here's the thing. I googled it, right, and frogs do decompose faster because, like, I mean, they're made of like water and stuff. And, like, but
how long?
Oh, like it was within the month. I know it was in the month because me and Kai cleaned that flat at the start of the festival. We both did. And my room, because it was all underground, there was like a garden down there, but it was a garden where if a frog jumped in, there was no way it was getting out. It was a 6 feet high wall, and occasionally I'd leave the back door open just to like smoke weed and stuff. And there was plenty of times that like there was frogs in the room, we had to chase them out. There was one time when we accidentally like shut the door on a frog, and like, and it was the worst thing I've ever seen. And like me and Kai are just, and it's there, and it's like we try and like with a fork or whatever, just try and like flip it out, but like it's so smashed and crushed into this fucking door frame that we're like, we need a chisel for this. And me and Kai are going, this is so gross.
Frogs are common in Edinburgh and are they, because we have like cane toads, I guess, and they're annoying and gross and quite large.
And you're meant to kill those.
You're meant to kill them.
There's too many. Kill them all. But yeah, you get frogs as pests in share houses?
Not really bad. Like, it was just, I think we lived in like a particularly woody area.
Yeah.
And there was like...
And you were in a dungeon kind of situation as well.
Yeah, and it just sort of came down. I'm actually a witch, and I use them mainly for recipes.
Is this where this is going?
Yeah. You're the Pied Piper of frogs.
Yeah. My thing is, clearly it was under a bunch of stuff. Like, friends had come round who were like Aussie friends, were like, can we just leave a bunch of stuff at your house?
Right.
And I was like, sure.
Blame it on the Australians.
Absolutely. That's the safest way out of anything. If you dogs. And so there was just a pile of like luggage in my room, and it was under that pile of luggage. So clearly the frog had come in when like, this is a great place to live. And then like, hey, the fact that it starved to death proves that there's no other bugs in my house. So like, it's worse if it's been in there for a month, and then at the end it's like, fuck, fool, there is so many bugs around here. The fact that it starved to death is proof that my house is clean and pest free normally.
I mean, if it was under a lot of shit, it might have just suffocated.
I'm not here for your fucking science now. Okay?
I've been watching a lot of Law and Order, all right?
I don't need this
I'll
logic.
get to the bottom of this. I'm not going to sit aside and let the Australians take the blame.
It was Nick Cody and Debbie Lardner, and I'll not hear otherwise.
I'm kind of dealing with a Sharehouse mystery myself.
Mm-hmm.
As you know, I was down in Melbourne for the weekend for the festival. I came back and I was eagerly anticipating eating a packet of Kit Kats that I had been saving. And I hid this pair of Kit Kats underneath a loaf of bread. Like, there is no way any of these cats are going to fucking see this.
Yeah, because
people
famously don't eat bread every day.
Well, it's my bread.
So inconspicuous.
I come back, and not only had they eaten the Kit Kats, but they'd also left like 2 bars at the end as well, just like as a you to my face. And none of them will fess up. None of them will tell me who it is.
Was it?
Don't look at me. I am not a sweet tooth.
This is what he tries to say. I've seen you eat sweet all the time.
I have to be very blazed to get into
Which also, you
sweets.
smoked my weed as well.
I mean, it's all the evidence is very...
Linking up. Look, if it happened, I don't remember. I deny all allegations.
What's your policy on like communal items? Taking things that aren't yours?
Yeah, I don't give a shit. I'm bad on the other side of things. Okay, when I lived with when I lived with Jean, this is one of the worst things I've ever done in my life, and it was only Kai calling me on it. For being a sociopath. We didn't have any pens in the house. We just, like, I'm a comedian, so I type, so I've just never owned a pen before. And the only pen in the house was Jean's. So one night I was stoned and I needed it for something, and she was at work, and then she came back and I was like, I'll use your pen today. And we both went down to bed. And then in the morning, then like, I need my sleep. Like, if people wake me up, I'm a fucking angry man. She wakes me up at like 7 a.m. She's like, really sorry to bother you, but like, I need my pen back. And I was like, oh yeah. And I text her back, being like, yeah, it's just upstairs. It'll be in the living room. She texts like 3 minutes later, being like, it's not in the living room. Now, Jean doesn't look for things. Like, you could have something directly in front of her fucking eyes. Yeah. And she's one of those people that's like, where is this?
That's like my girlfriend. She'd go to the fridge, and before she's looked for it, she'd go, where is it?
Yeah. And
you haven't actually had a search.
For anything.
Commit at least 30 seconds to it before you fucking rope me into this. And it's so common for Jean to be like, where's my phone? And you're like, it's there. It's in your hand. Just look. Just fucking check. Just check somewhere first. And she goes, it's not in the living room. And I know it's up there. And she texts, really sorry it's not there. I'm like, look, if it's not in the living room, it'll be in my jacket pocket, or it'll be in my dressing gown pocket, because I was in my dressing gown last night. She texts back 5 minutes later, it's not in your dressing gown pocket. I'm like, Jean, like, there's a hole in the pocket, so the pen's probably fallen down the line. If you just look, or if you just like scrunch the hole and you just look for the fucking pen.
And you're texting all this from
In bed, and every time the phone rings, like vibrates, I'm angry that I'm not getting my fucking sleep. I've got a stone over it. I'm just like, and it gets to the point where she's like, I'm really, really sorry, I can't find it. And I go, I'm fucking raging. And I get up, and I put my jammy bottoms on, and I can feel the pen.
in your
pants.
In my pants pockets. But I've made such a stink about it at this point. Like, I've just gone too hard. I'm gonna have to die.
No
in this
coming back.
I put my shit and I go upstairs and I palm the pen in my hand and I grab my dressing gown and I go in and then go, see, if you just looked for things,
Slide of
and she's so upset because obviously I've put it.
You've done a full magician's trick here. You've sleight of hand. You've put it in the dressing gown for her to discover it somewhere she'd already looked.
Yeah.
So you'd completely just like lied to her face and made her think.
I absolutely gaslit her into thinking it was all her fault. Like, it was all on her end for just to save fucking face with herself. She got like it's also the funny thing. The reason she needed the pen was for her diary, which she then just wrote in about how horrible things were, but like also how embarrassed she was. So she's like, oh, I don't look for things enough. And I kept this a fucking secret for ages because I was like, that's not a.
This is not something that you can come clean about quickly.
That's not a thing a best friend does. That's not a nice human thing. And then on me and Kai's podcast, I think I brought it up with him, and he was just like, you're a psychopath and you need to go and tell her what
Daniel,
yeah.
Jean is actually on the line right now. She's in. Jean, how you doing?
I will never get tired of you having to relive the experience of how such a friend you were that day.
Hey, it wasn't the finest moment of our friendship.
I cried for like a whole day after that.
How long was it until you found out about what he'd done?
Months. It was absolute months. He did that. I took the pen and I was like, oh, okay. And I went downstairs and I wrote in my diary because I'm fucking cool. And then I came back upstairs. Danny was sitting on the sofa in the living room. I came back upstairs, fucking teary, and he was like, oh, come here, boo, and gave me a big hug.
He's like you don't look for things. It's a real problem in your life. You'll get better at it over time.
He's not wrong either. Like, I just started a new job where I was working in a bar and they would be like, oh, can you go downstairs and like get some more of these wines? And I'd be like, no problemo. And I'd go downstairs, I'd come back up and I was like, there's none, we're out, I'm so sorry. And they'd go down and be like, there are 9 boxes at eye level.
It's a cellar
of this wine. Like, I'm such a shit person.
So yeah, kind of like she was getting in trouble, which I didn't know she was getting in trouble for work. But obviously, like, this was just the final straw. I was like, you never look for it. And she was just and then when I saw her cry, I'm like, well, I can't apologize now. Like she's
and also because I don't listen to the podcast all the time.
Right.
Danny was just on edge for kind of like weeks. And he'd just sort of like hesitantly walk into rooms and be like, what you listen to? Are you mad at me? Are you mad at me for any reason? And I was like, no, why would I be mad at you? And he was like, oh yeah, no reason. And then after, like, honestly, maybe about 3 months, he was like, I just think that maybe, I know you don't listen to the podcast all the time, but I just think maybe you should check out this episode. I think you might find it very interesting.
That's one way to like avoid confrontation is to make your housemate listen to a podcast so they can discover a secret.
Well, actually, me, Gene, and Kai, who lived with us at the time, we were always very good at avoiding confrontation with each other because that's why we had the. Do you remember the passive-aggressive whiteboard in the kitchen?
I do remember the passive-aggressive whiteboard.
So this was basically, we all lived together. And when you live with other people, you've all got bad habits, right? You've all got things that you do.
Yeah.
But, like, it's always this fear of, like, the second you go, you do this, somebody's going to go to you, yeah, well, you f***ing do this. And it becomes this vicious cycle of just you accusing each other of shit. Because we all woke up at different times, we had one whiteboard in the kitchen where we would just write passive-aggressive notes to each other. Because then when somebody called you on your shit, they weren't there, so you couldn't get angry.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
I'd walk in the kitchen and Kai would have written, "Oh, thanks to whoever filled up the swimming pool in the bathroom this morning. The deep end was pretty bad. Like I jumped off the toilet, nearly broke my neck, and that's because like I just dripped dry after the shower." And I'm like, "Oh, you know what? Fuck you." Actually, now that there's nobody here calling it out to my face, I will admit that I do that, and maybe I will be better in the future.
What
That's
other
good.
things would go up on this whiteboard, Gene?
I was going to say, was it also on the whiteboard that Kai called you out for thinking that underwear was communal in the flat?
No.
Oh boy.
Well done. Yeah, okay.
You think underwear is communal?
No. My fucking thorough rule with my friends, right? If you do washing and you put it in my fucking room, that's my clothes now. Not my fucking problem. Like if you can't recognize your own fucking shit, I can't recognize my own shit. I'll fucking wear whatever.
Rather than return it or leave it out somewhere, you will wear it.
You gave me your fucking underwear, not my problem. No, shirts just wear anything. Like,
It's been holding someone else's junk.
It's also been what? It's been washed. Also, I'm not sucking my own dick. Like what? What part of this is? Oh no, my that's the residue of my mace. What's what? I'm gonna get cooties. What's the problem? Like I trust my washing machine to have done the job.
Wait, what if Jean's underwear ends up in your room?
Well, right. So this is the thing I learned about living with Jean. Like I was very obviously clearly sheltered. Like it was only when living with Jean that I realised that apparently thongs are not just for looking sexy purposes. Because like one time I'm doing the washing and I'm like, Jean has a lot of
G-strings.
a lot of thongs and G-strings. You're a very kinky girl. And she was like, do you think girls' underwear is only for men? And I'm like, no, I don't think I'm a feminist. I don't think that at all. No, I fully understand that. Then she was like, no, it's, to get rid of what's the VPL? Is that it? Visible panty line?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You enjoying this, Jean?
I am enjoying this. Like, a part of me is wondering how much he was looking at my washing hanging up, just like, oh, I can't wear any of this. This is shit for me.
Man, I have put on like Cara has seen me put on her it's obvious when I open them up that it's not mine, but I'm not a smart person, so I'll just put it on and I'm just like, I don't think these are mine anymore. On this trip when I packed my bag out, I accidentally packed 2 of Cara's underwear. Like I've got them. I look like some sort of sad pervert who just misses his fiance. I'm just like, I'm gonna take this with you to remind me. But no, it was just white and black underwear. I'm like, well, this must be mine.
I was wondering why you were in a dress at the Enmore Theatre last night.
I was a kill you racist. To be fair, let's check if these are. Yeah, these are. I've never. These are definitely Kai's underwear right now. But from like years and years ago, I've never bought a pair of Pringle underwear in my entire life. Absolutely.
So you're literally wearing your housemate's underwear in this podcast.
Yeah. Man, if you look, not my problem. Like, if you put your washing in my pile, I'm gonna fucking wear it.
I mean, I wear your clothes all the time, but I draw the line at underwear.
Yeah, we draw the line at underwear.
I'm not wearing it on my face. I just what? Like you worried about dick cooties? Grow up. It's washed underwear. I put it in the detergent. Grow up. It's clean. The whole point of a washing machine is to wash it. It's brand new.
Gene,
Okay.
while you're on the line, is there anything that you think Daniel doesn't understand about being a model housemate?
Do you know what? I wish I'd come more prepared with this, and I don't want to sing your praises, Danny. Just because you were my landlord for many years.
It's a bit of a conflict of interest.
Yeah, just because you're saving a bedroom for me back home, this isn't trying to keep that room or anything. I'm not trying to just stay in your good books.
Uh-huh.
There was nothing bad about living with you.
Wow.
Is this
You know
the
what?
most sincere
It's true,
compliment
because-
I've ever given you?
Yeah.
As research for this podcast, I messaged Jean, I messaged Kai as well, and they both could not sing Daniel's praises enough. And
Well, he was barely in the house. He was.
that was one of the biggest selling points. That was
a
one of
big
the
part
biggest
of it.
selling
Yeah.
points.
And also, like when I come back, like I'm just like a little stoner. I just sit on my couch
And chill.
Like, yeah, like it was lovely living with Jean because she'd like sometimes work till 2 or 3 in the morning, but I would just sit there smoking. And then she'd come back and I'd just be like, "Hiya," and she's like, "Oh, it's like having a dog."
Yeah.
Like I'm just there whacking my tail. I'm like, "Oh, she's home."
That's seriously. Thank you very much for joining us, Jean.
Oh my God, thank you for having me.
No worries.
What a pleasure.
And thank you very much for joining us, Daniel.
Thank you very much for having me.
A model housemate.
Yeah.
It would seem.
Apart from the underwear theft.
I would almost say a model landlord as well.
A model
All landlords
landlord.
should strive to be like Daniel.
Thank
I wish
you.
we had a landlord like that.
Yeah, can you buy this house?
Yeah, can you please
got
buy this
probably.
house?
Well, I'm not gonna lie, things are going well. Probably I could, yeah.
That would be so awesome. Thank you so much for joining us and being our first global guest.
Thank you very much for having me.